Good evening, everyone. I am Krishna Saraswat, along with Shruti Jindal, Babli Singh, and Riya Agrawal. Our group is going to present a case study on TYCO Group, the company failure case study. About the TYCO Group. So, the TYCO International was a security systems company incorporated in the Republic of Ireland. It was a Ireland-based company, and its operational headquarters were in Princeton, New Jersey, United States. It headquartered in Princeton, New Jersey, United States, and it was based in Ireland. The TYCO International comprised of providing security solutions and fire protection services to their clients. So the other business segments in which the company dealt, they provided their services included fire detection, suppression, and personal protective equipment, access control, video surveillance, and integrated security systems for the betterment of a company for the better security purposes to make a company more technically sound in terms of security.
As we all have, all must have heard about the TYCO scandal that took place back in 2002. So before getting a deep dive into what the scandal actually was, we'll first understand what was the unethical and legal issues that lead to the all-time famous scandal. At first, Leo Dennis Kozlowski was the CFO at TYCO. Um, in 1992, after climbing up the positions from company's president and executive, he became the CEO of the company. During the tenure of his leadership, TYCO merged and TYCO merged and bought out several companies, making their profits grow beyond 30 billion. I'll re-emphasize the number beyond 30 billion. That's a huge, huge amount. As Kozlowski used an aggressive approach to gain acquisitions and mergers during his period as a CEO. Well, this kept on going till 1999 until some of the board of the directors says that something fishy must be going on in the company. TYCO accounting habits were said to be producing irregular financial accounts, but it was denied by TYCO's leaders. Next slide, please. In 2002, the board of directors launched an investigation about their members' incorrect behavior. And what they found out was deeply unexpected and shocking. Um, the CEO and CFO of the company stole 170 million from the company and fraudulently selling an additional 430 million in stock options. Because of because of the scandal coming into the limelight, Kozlowski and his few friends were resigned and have been dragged to the court. Next slide, please.
As you guys take a picture of TYCO scandal in 2002, continuing in that, now I'm going to talk about where does corporate governance fit in TYCOs. So as we all know, corporate governance is the system by which company directed and controlled. Board of directors are responsible for the governance of the TYCO's company, where shareholders appoint the directors and the auditors. In TYCO, TYCO company directors appoint from outsider by shareholders to strengthen the corporate governance, and the management decisions in the TYCOs are made by taking care of shareholders' interest, through which there will be no cures in the company. For this, the board must take care the job seriously be safeguard and assets and interest. For this, new regulations require where audit committee must be independent and primarily able to represent outside of the firm, which can meet on a regular basis regarding company's policies and practices. Next slide. What does TYCO changes itself? TYCO restructure its governance mechanism by replacing its director Kozlowski by Breen, and who became new board of director in the TYCO. Breen developed new reporting structure. Now TYCO culture is based on its premises, where each employee is responsible for success of a company. TYCO changes are viewed as positive. Governance metrics of international, a governance rating consulting firm has increased TYCO governance rating from 1.5 out of 10 in December 2002. Out of that, 9.0 in August 2005. Currently, TYCO's structure is that the company distributes and depth ethical guides to all its employees, which is built upon several corporate core values, including integrity, excellence, teamwork, and accountability, where the TYCOs are working upon. Next slide.
So now let's move upon the conclusion. So as we have seen how the scandal took place and how the company creates changes in its governance policies. So corporate culture in an evolving entity and can be changed for the better. Efforts must be made by executive teams to ensure that the corporate culture of their organization is healthy and operating in the best interest of the firm. We cannot express the importance of integrity, leading by example, and that public policy and legislation cannot be a substitute for strong individual and corporate ethical values. In the company, the ethical values should be followed, and in this case, we have seen that individual greed is very harmful for the company and it can even destroy the company's overall value and system. Next slide, please. TYCO's organizational, ethical, and moral failures have resulted from the failures of the individual values of the leaders and failures of poor corporate governance mechanisms. While these factors may be attributed to self serving greed, influence from investors and the business society have also likely played some role. As public policy and legislation change in attempts to prevent such failure, we must realize that these efforts are not as preventive as strong ethical values. In For a company, it is very necessary to follow the corporate governance mechanisms, because the board of directors for this the board of directors should have the regular meetings for the transparency and fairness of the company, and they must have each other's concern for having practices and policies in the company. Although the scope of the paper is generally limited to this company, these external influencers and the need for strong ethical individual and corporate values may certainly be expanded well beyond TYCO. Next slide. Thank you.